Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you happen to be new, hello, my name is Dana. So glad you decided to stop by and hang out. If you would like to join the fam, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Today's video is going to be something a little bit different and definitely kind of just like a spur of the moment thing. I was originally going to film a video all about some new products, but as I was digging through my drawers to find a couple of random things, I was like, there are so many like awesome products in here that have not had their moment to shine in quite a while. So I thought today is the day, my friends. I'm going to unleash you back out into the world and give you the love that you deserve. So today's video is just going to be kind of like a tutorial, well not kind of, it is a tutorial on this look on products that I just feel like have been forgotten, are becoming the little orphan Annies of the world and like migrating to the back of my makeup drawer and collecting dust, and it's just sad and it's not right. So today I'm making a change and we're gonna start doing this maybe like once a month. Let me know how you guys like these videos. I really had a lot of fun just because it kind of like brought joy back into my heart for like some of these products that I'm like, why haven't I used you in a long time? So yeah, I know a lot of us get really overwhelmed with all the new releases and new launches constantly. It's like you feel like you have to keep up. Trust me, I get it. As a YouTuber, we feel the same way because we're like always wanting to be the first to pump out a review or tutorial or like first impressions on the product. But there's so many great products that we like already have in our collection, and it's like, why don't we just use those? We don't always have to have like the latest and greatest of everything, because there are products that are already great and that still need love, you know, because we all need love. So that's what today's video is going to be about. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. Starting off with the primer, these two were the like oldest throwback ones that I could find in my drawer. Both of them happen to be from Tarte. If I had to pick one that like sticks out the most in my mind that was like the most used back in the day, it would probably be Benefit Professional, or gosh, I just had another one in my mind and now I can't think of it. Oh, the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. So I have one that's more of like a silicone-based pore minimizing primer. This is the Tarte Clean Slate Timeless Smoothing Primer. I find this one to be pore blurring and less slippery than the Benefit Professional. And for whatever reason, I'm guessing because it's hot as the dickens outside, my nose has been so oily lately. So I definitely want to mattify that. And then in between my brows, I have this one enlarged pore that was like a blackhead way back when, and I basically picked it to life. So now it's just a never-ending crater. I haven't used this lately and I don't know why, because it really is a great primer. I think when it comes to primers though, I typically stick to the ones that are really dewy and luminous just because I love that healthy glowy look. Okay, so once I have that pressed in, I'm gonna go in with the Tarte Clean Slate Flawless 12-Hour Brightening Primer. There is another one that comes in a tube that is more of a smoothing one. I don't think it's the same formula. It could be, not quite sure, but it comes in a purple tube. Ooh, this is actually, see, super new. I got it and then I didn't even use it. That's pretty shameful, but I mean, that kind of tells you what's going on in my primer drawer at the moment. All right, so this comes out kind of as like an opalescent white, I guess, lotion. This I'm going to press right on my under eyes and just all over my cheeks. If you have more normal to dry skin, I think you would love this primer. Pretty much feels like a really nice hydrating moisturizer, but it just adds a little bit of glow. So you can just kind of see that opal reflective type of quality to it. Okay, now moving on to eyeshadows, because that's just the pattern that I like to work in. These were two palettes that I definitely thought were cult classics. First up, we have the Urban Decay Naked palette. Now, this isn't a Naked palette that I'd repurchased. This is like from when they first came out. Like, look how loved this thing is. I think there's two, yeah. I mean, two shades are basically completely gone. I could definitely like wedge my brush in there and get some of them. Clearly, I was obsessed with Half Baked, Sin, and Virgin. I don't have the pencil that came in here anymore because I use that down to the very nub, but I do have the dual-ended pencil from the Naked 2 palette that we'll be using. Next up, we have the Lorac Pro palette. Landon actually stepped on this when he was a baby. Once again, some very well-loved shadows in here. However, this one, Slate, I know that one broke when Landon stepped on it, but I mean, Nude, that broke up like that because I was obsessed with that color, as well as White and Cream, Taupe and Sable. Any palette that has a good brow bone shade, I go freaking hard in. I don't know what it is. I just love a great brow bone shade. So since I don't have any more of white, I guess my only other option is cream today. If you guys are curious of any of the brushes that I'm using, I actually just posted a favorite brushes video that I'll go ahead and link right here. So I'm actually not gonna go in and use a primer because I don't have an Urban Decay primer potion. I really need a hair clip. Primer potion in my collection anymore. But if you are curious, the eyeshadow primer that I have been in love with for the last probably 2 months is the one from CoverGirl's newer spring line. I believe it's just called Lid Lock. That one is so amazing. It's just as good as any of my other high-end eyeshadow primers, and that's really the only one that I've been using on repeat because it is so good. Now for my crease color, I definitely want to incorporate both of these palettes because they're both just such good throwbacks. So for my crease, honestly, Buck and Taupe are pretty similar. So let's go ahead and start off with Buck, and I'm just going to buff that all into my imaginary crease because, you know, hooded lid life. This really is such a great transition color. I have not used this palette in such a long time. That's one thing that's so sad about makeup. You know, there's constantly new things coming out, so things that were your favorites suddenly like migrate to the back of the drawer. It's kind of like, it reminds me of like Toy Story in a way, you know, like Andy gets like new things, so then Woody gets pushed back further and further. Well, I guess no, Andy gets older, which I'm getting older too. But it's just sad, like they become little orphans like collecting dust in the back. And that makes me really sad because you still deserve love, little Naked palette. All right, now to deepen things up a bit, I wanna go in and I can't decide if I wanna keep this look more matte and just do like a little pop of something something on the lid, but I think I'm gonna go in with Sable next, and we're just gonna go ahead and just blend this from my lid all up into my crease, just kind of blast the color out. Next, going in with a little bit of espresso, I'm just going to focus more of this right here on the outer corner. Do not worry. We will go in with a makeup wipe to clean up these outer areas. I decided I do want to keep everything kind of like still smoky and sultry, but I do want a little bit of shimmer in there just for some dimension. So I think I'm going to go in with Dark Horse, but I want a little bit of a sticky base and something to kind of like intensify that color even more. So this product isn't quite as old as the Naked palette, but I want to say it's about 2 to 3 years old. This is from Pure Cosmetics. It's the eye polish base and top coat in the shade Suede. I have not used this in a while. It may be, in fact, I guess it is expired, but I'm gonna go ahead and take the risk and use it anyways. And to apply it, I actually went ahead and dipped in this applicator already and tested it on my hand just to see. It is a wee bit chunky, but we're gonna make it work. This is the e.l.f. Cosmetics Silicone Glitter Applicator. So it just kind of looks like a normal eyeshadow sponge, like in this spade shape, but it is silicone instead. Just because I don't wanna get my finger all up in here. So I'm just going to dip this guy in here. I really kind of got to get down to the bottom because it has gotten a little thicker and paste-like, but if anything, I feel like that'll kind of help the eyeshadow stick a little bit more, or it'll burn my eyeball off. I guess we'll see. So I'm just gonna grab this guy and begin pressing this right onto the inner third of my lid. Okay, so while that is still sticky, I'm gonna go in with my finger, take a little bit of Dark Horse, and just press this right on top. Yeah, that's like exactly what I wanted because the glitter from the eye polish is still kind of peeking through the shadow, and I just feel like it's kind of helping to intensify the look of Dark Horse. My eyeballs aren't like melting out of my head or anything, so I think so far we're in the clear with the eye polish. Okay, now moving on to foundation. This is what actually kind of inspired this video. I've been using this for the last couple of weeks. This one isn't one that I've had in my collection like for years and years. It's actually something that I repurchased because I've been wanting to repurchase the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, but I just couldn't justify it right now. Even though I love it and I finished my previous bottle, I have so many other foundations that I feel like I need to finish before I buy that one, just because it does have a heftier price tag. But something that I think is pretty comparable at the drugstore is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Healthy Luminous Makeup. I love this foundation. For this, I do have my sponge, but I wanted to go ahead and try it out with this brush too, because I remember years back on YouTube, everyone who used Revlon Color Stay always used this brush. This is the powder brush from the e.l.f. Studio line. Now, way back when everything in the Studio line was $3, I haven't purchased anything from the e.l.f. website in quite a while, so I'm not quite sure if that has changed or not. I don't know how it'll work with this foundation just because this is something that's a little bit more liquidy, but I wanted to try it anyways because I remember so many of us used to do this. You apply a little bit of foundation onto your flat top Sigma F50, F something, like drugstore dupe, and then you would kind of press it into your skin and then begin buffing it in. I was gonna go out and buy Revlon Color Stay for this video, but I know I don't like that foundation, so I just think it would be a waste. I think I did at first, but as I've gotten older and my skin has gotten drier, I just do not like it. I feel like it gathers a lot in any of my fine lines and it just feels way too heavy on my skin. So here is the foundation. I could definitely go in with a second layer, but since I'm going in with powder today and concealer, I don't really want to build up the coverage too much and end up feeling like I have a really, really heavy base. So before I apply my concealer, I'm actually going to go in with a corrector. This isn't really like the oldest product. I mean, it has been out for a while, but not quite as long as some of these other things, but today is a day where your girl needs it. So this is the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. My under eyes have just been looking extra rough lately. I haven't been getting the best sleep and my sinuses have just been insane. So I almost have this like bruised look right on the inside of my nose. And I'd like to correct that. In with the Tarte Maracuja Creaseless Concealer, I like to take a mixture of light medium sand with light just to get a good kind of custom color for my under eyes. This definitely is a thicker concealer. I know Tarte recently revamped the packaging and now comes in a doe foot applicator, which I'm really interested in trying because I think it'll definitely be thinner because in these squeeze tubes, it definitely is a thicker formula. If you've tried the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye, it's kind of similar to that when it comes to like the thickness and the tackiness of it. So a little bit really does go a long way. This is a concealer that I definitely like to go in and pat in with my finger first, just to really allow the heat from my fingers to kind of like melt it right in. Now for my actual face powder, I'm going in with an old favorite. This is the Revlon Color Stay Aqua Mineral Makeup. I feel like this is a powder that has been out for years that was definitely underrated. I have been using it for such a long time. And what's funny about this is that whenever the recent powder from Becca came out, everyone was like, oh my God, I've never felt anything like this. I don't own that, but from the way that people describe it, it sounds very similar to this. So I haven't really heard anybody else mention that this is a dupe. Maybe that would be an interesting video to try out. I'm just gonna go in and lightly just tap this onto the skin. It doesn't give the most coverage when you go in with a brush like this. If you are looking for more coverage, something like the e.l.f. brush that I used earlier would be more ideal, but this is just the sheer powder brush from Smashbox. This is just kind of lightly setting everything into place. All right, now moving on to bronzer. When I think of bronzers, the two bronzers that I feel like I've heard about the longest on YouTube would be NARS Laguna, which is the one that I'm using today, and then the NYC Sunny Bronzer, which I don't even know if they make that one anymore. I looked online to see at like Target and Walmart. I couldn't find it, so NARS Laguna it is. This is such a gorgeous bronzer. I absolutely love it. Okay, now for the blush, if you have been with me for a while, then you probably know which one I'll be talking about. Here's a hint, it's from MAC. Something that I heard that's pretty disappointing, I can't say for sure because I haven't tried the newer formula because I mean, this is a blush that I feel like takes forever to get through. This used to be like the only MAC blush that I owned, pretty much one of the only blushes that I own. So I use it on a daily basis and I never hit pan on it. This is MAC Warm Soul. This is one of their mineralized blushes. I think the main reason I stopped using this was because I was fearful of ever like finishing it because with everyone saying like, oh, the new one isn't the same. I'm like, I don't ever want to be without this blush, but I don't even know how to describe this. It is just the best glowy, like dusty rose, healthy glow from within type of blush. It's just stunning. It's beautiful on so many different skin tones and it's just everything. I feel like it goes with a cool tone look. It goes with a warm tone look. If you want glowy cheeks, MAC Warm Soul is the way to go. Okay, next up we have another MAC product. When I think of highlighters, this is the one that I feel like that has been around the longest before everyone and their mother and their cat jumped on the highlighter train. This is the one that everyone spoke about. This is MAC Soft and Gentle. I don't have my original one because I think I pretty much finished it. So this is, Max had this packaging for a while now, but I mean, it used to come in a larger version of this. So I'm just gonna go in with my Anastasia highlighter brush, and I'm just going to pop some of this right onto my cheeks. This and Warm Soul go beautifully together. It's almost like they were made for each other. Now to finish off my eyes, I'm gonna go in with this dual-ended pencil. This is actually from the Naked 2 palette. I'm gonna go in with this side that is called Pistol, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm gonna warm it up first because I haven't used it in a while. I'm gonna go ahead and line my tight line and kind of drag it down onto my lower lash line. I'm gonna grab Hustle and kind of just press that onto my lower lash line. All right, so nothing was really tickling my pickle, so I went in and grabbed something that's not really like an old favorite, but it's still a favorite. This is the Smashbox 𝗿𝚁𝗾𝗃 lipstick in, I just had like a weird shiver, that was creepy, Mauve Wife. I absolutely love this lip. I just think it's so pretty. The other ones either were looking like too like dusty pink or nude, but this one is making me happy. I think it complements the blush pretty well. All right, but that is it for this look. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, definitely give this video a thumbs up if you would like to see more of these videos using kind of like cult classic favorites. And if you do want to see more, definitely leave which products you would like to see featured in the next one. I had so much fun filming this video. As I mentioned in the intro, I know so many of us get overwhelmed where you're like, you have to buy this and this and this and this because it's new, but all of us have so many great products that have been in our collection for forever, and don't let them get dusty like Woody and Buzz in the bottom of your toy box, because they still deserve love, because I mean, they're just bomb.com products. They're reasons that they're still out and just like always in the bestseller sections of Sephora and Ulta. But yeah, that's it for this one. I hope you guys all have a great day. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you guys would like to stick around, hang out some more, I'll go ahead and leave some videos here. That way you guys can just, you know, sit, chill with me a little bit more. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a great day, and I will catch you in the next one. Ow. Bye.